Good morning and welcome to Nigeria Now, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, 2S Television. My name is Merciful Ajunimo, and joining us today is Adebayo Fajimi. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm very fine.
Good. We have a couple of stories this morning that cuts across all the newspapers for this morning. And one big story right there that, that shows on both the Nigerian News Direct and the Blueprint is FEC approving NNPC's 612.2 billion naira request for 21 roads. And that can be found on the Nigerian News Direct banner headline on page 3. NNPC FEC show proactiveness foresight. That's coming from Korodo. We see Fayemi flags off IPP project to address shortage of power supply. And that can be found on page 22. And then we see Nigeria is going through turbulent times economically. And that's coming from an NPC member. We can find out on page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct. From the very top there, Olams Ogun opens portal for land acquisition, grants amnesty to encroachers. That can be found on page 22. Senate approves 1,000 naira daily allowance for prisoners. And that story can be found on page 23 of the Nigerian News Direct. And NCC telecom regulators set to combat e-fraud, standardized regional roaming tariffs. And we can get out on page 13 of the News Direct. And Okonjo-Iweala others for CIBN Fellowship Award that can be found on page 14. And the same gaping headline that can be found on the Nigerian News Direct is also, shown on the Blueprint newspaper right there amidst outcry. FEC okays 621 billion naira NNPC fund to fix 21 roads. And we are seeing a story that talks about fixing federal roads 21. What's your reaction to this story?
Firstly, we must understand the fact that economic development thrives on infrastructure, and without this, there will be a limit to what we can achieve economically. So this news coming, is really a welcome development. So our advice, or what we just need to tell the government or whoever, the committee or those people in charge of this particular initiative, is to ensure that the money is being used for the correct project and what they say they want to do, and the quality of the job must not be on the lower or the radar. So what they say they want to do must be done. So it's a very welcome development, because when people have access to good road, quality of road to transport their goods, and even if you want to, whatever the services they want to do, if there is good access road, of course it will be more easier for people to do whatever they want to do, and we will continue to grow economically.
Yes, so we see Niger State topping with 9 projects. That's on the Blueprint newspaper right there of the banner story. And NLC protests poor state of Lagos Abeokuta axis, traders, Imo residents lament. And then we're seeing 4 billion naira approved for transmission line, substations in Anambra, Enugu, and 377.6 million naira for transformers in Akure, Benin substations. Now, we're already seeing a cry from NLC on the poor state of Lagos Abeokuta axis. Like you said, poor sharing formula. Do you think there can actually be a right sharing formula for a country like Nigeria, where we've had people crying about the state of the roads, especially in grassroots areas?
Of course, the issue is just somehow complex, because you have roads being handled by federal government, you have that of state, and you have that belong to the local government. So of course there is, but I think what is necessary is whatever belongs to either of the any of the three should be handled by them, and it should be done, because there is no doubt about it. Whatever you want to do, especially now that the country says we want to diversify our means of economy, or our means of generating income, that we want to look away from crude oil, that we want to go fully into farming. There is no way, there is no how we can achieve this if there is no good quality access of road.
True that. Still on the Blueprint newspaper right there, we see former Agric Minister Abaruma dies in London, and that sad story can be found on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper right there. And then underneath that, we see gunmen kidnap 8 in Ekiti, demand 50 million naira ransom, can be found on page 5 as well. Just underneath that picture of the day there, we see anxiety as survey reveals 200% bread price hike December. Rider says multiple taxation, high cost of materials are a challenge that's coming from the bakers, and consequence of debilitating effects of IMF World Bank prescriptions that's coming from Parker. We can get that story on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. And we see Senate jacks up prisoners feeding cost to 1,000 naira per day. NDIC blames unemployment on cybercrime in Nigeria. COVID-19, 180,000 health workers died globally in 16 months, coming from WHO. Just beside the Blueprint tag right there, we see 48 hours after launch, scammers hijack e-Naira, CBN alerts Nigerians. We can get out on page 22. Just a few days ago, we were talking about this e-Naira, and the questions that were asked was, how ready is Nigeria to go on with this? How ready are we to start this project and make sure that we continue? And you know, we had experts that said, yes, it's a welcome development. And now we are seeing just barely 2 days, 48 hours is what it is. And we're seeing a hijack, and it has been deleted from the app. The wallet app has been deleted from Google Store. How do you react to this development?
Well, the information I have, I don't see that the platform was hijacked. So it was just imposters who are trying to deceive people who probably do not have access to credible and good information. You know, about this, because they say the federal government is giving, is it 50 billion naira, you know, e-currency, you know, to people. And even there was a platform I belonged to yesterday where somebody sent something similar. I just disregard it. So it is just, you know, a strategy, you know, by the impostor to defraud Nigerians, and which is very, very, you know, which the CBN has debunked. So they said, if you want to get, in fact, so far since according to the press release released by the Apex Bank, that they don't operate on Twitter. And these people started on Twitter. So that's where they started the campaign that, you know, dishing out the information to people. So CBN has debunked it. So the issue is just that, you know, people should have access to credible information so that they don't fall victim of these, you know, imposters.
Okay, let's go to the Daily Times newspaper. The banner headline there is tension universities oversharing formula of 22.1 billion naira earned allowances. The writer there says, as SSANU, NASU give federal government 2-week ultimatum to reverse sharing formula. This story is a big story that has got people talking. What do you think of the sharing formula and the call to reverse it?
Well, I think the federal government needs to rise to the occasion, because we have like about four unions in the universities. You know, we have NASU, we have ASU, we have NAT, we have ASU, which is teaching staff, and 3 non-teaching staffs. And 25% going to ASU, and other people, like, you know, why is it that the other 3 unions are to share just 25%? And the question is truly, if you look at it, that, okay, is it that we don't have family? Is it that we don't have personal issues that we are dealing with that we need money for? So there is no way they will not, no matter the standard, you know, the specification, you know, in the institutions. So I think federal government needs to do something, because on a good day, in fact, somebody like me will feel like that, because if I'm not being taken care of, and another, you know, maybe someone else in the same institution, in the same organization is, you know, being treated, you know, far better than me, of course I will. And the truth is, if there is no this union, if there is no these people, ASU cannot function. Because if you want to teach, for you to be able to teach, you also need the services of non-teaching staff to be able to carry out your work effectively. So for federal government to avoid this, so that, you know, the institution don't shut down again, so they need to, you know, rise to the occasion and see how they can pacify them to ensure that, you know, their quest or their call, you know, is being attended to.
When you say pacify, are you talking about some sort of a balanced sharing formula where everybody receives exactly the same amount, or are you saying there should be some sort of an upward raise? Because from the defense of that I've read online, and that with, you know, TOS News has gathered before now, is before now, yes, the salaries are quite different.
Yeah. Different
job responsibilities, different definitions of job roles, and definitely what you're receiving is different from what non-teachers are receiving too. So are you saying when it comes to the earned allowances and the 22.1 billion naira, there should be some sort of amicable dispensation of this money?
So what I mean by that is, you know, the sharing formula should be balanced. I'm not talking about, you know, the percentage of what is accruing to each, I mean, to each union or individual. So in the percentage of the formula, so there should be a kind of balance, so that
equality,
equality, so that the other party will not be feeling as if, you know, they
They're
don't feel
left
among God, or maybe government does not even concern about them. So that's what I mean by that.
All right. We have a couple of other stories that you can grab on any of this newspaper I've read out to you. The Daily Times, the top there says Senate rejects Buhari's $700 loan request, summons Water Resources Minister, and that can be found on page 2. Grab yourself a copy of any of these newspapers. And don't forget, you can stay updated on our website. That is www.tostvnetwork.com. And also follow us across all our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at TOSTV Network. And our YouTube is TOSTV Network. Like and subscribe so you do not miss out on our amazing content. Thank you for joining us again on Nigeria Now. Till I come your way tomorrow, I remain Merciful Ajinobo.